Okay, we're rolling.
All right, this is an interview at the Buffalo and Erie County Historical Society, Buffalo, New York, 24th of October, 2006. Approximately 1 p.m. Interviewers are Mike Russert and Wayne Clark. What is your full name?
Alfred F. Koch, K-O-C-H.
Okay, where were you born?
Pardon?
Where were you born?
Buffalo.
When?
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 May 4th, 1920.
Okay. What was your education? How far did you go in school before you went in service?
3 years of high school. That's it.
Okay. Did you enlist or were you drafted?
They drafted me. I wasn't foolish. No, they didn't take me at first, that's why. I waited to be drafted later.
Okay.
My teeth weren't right. So, after they needed more men, I guess my teeth were all right. I ended up in the Air Force, which was great.
Did you want to be in the Air Force?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I loved airplanes.
Okay. Had you ever flown before you went into service? Did you ever fly before you went in?
No. I never flew before.
Okay. Where did you go for basic training?
The basic training, I went down to Miami Beach. Then from Miami Beach, I went out to Gulfport to school, AM school. So I stayed there until about, I don't know, I think it was about 6 months that we had school or something like that. I'm not too sure.
What did they train you to do there?
Pardon?
What kind of training did you receive at that school?
Credits?
Training.
Training. What kind of training?
Grade?
Training.
What did you learn at the school?
Oh, what did we learn at school?
Yes, that one.
Why'd you say learn? Okay.
Okay.
Well, we learned engine maintenance and structural fabrication, stuff like that. See? And we learned, firstly was more and more to get you accustomed to the airplane and the methods that they, I don't know, say that they use or whatever. See? And they tried to tell you what each and every, like the generator was, and they go in the background, the starter, and so on. And then we were also taught how to be, I don't know, how to put this self-sufficient or something. In other words, don't depend on anybody else. You know? So, if something happened to an airplane, you could take care of it. And anyway, went to the school, you learned electrical, engine, and hydraulics, and so on. And after the course, say about 6 months, and they sent you to some other airfield or something. Now, I was fortunate. They sent me down to Homestead. And at Homestead, well, we had a new outfit there. It was the 75th Faring Squadron. And we were, after we got acquainted with everything down there, then we started teaching these fellows, or I don't know just how to say it, checking them out before they went overseas. Okay? So we would fly, we would try to teach them. Now mind you, I was just out of school.
Yes.
But you would try to teach them different things. So like I would take an engineer and I'd have him on it, and he was in my hands, and I'd try to explain different things in an airplane, what he may encounter or something. The pilots had their pilots and co-pilots up front. They had their no navigators though, and radio operators. So when we flew around the United States. I flew up to Buffalo, went back to Florida one day, and Texas, Puerto Rico, Cuba, and all around South America. then back. See, it was all training. And we had blind flying, one engine operation and stuff like that. All that stuff that comes in emergency. So that's what happened at the 75th. And after the 75th, they started the B-29. Now the B-29 started over in China. So those were new airplanes. Nobody knew much about them. And some of those planes only had about 50 hours of flight on them, and they were down. So they started the first transport squadron, our squadron, air transport. And they started the Alfred, and they picked men from all over the United States. And they had plenty of to choose from. So they picked these men, and they got them together. I guess it was in April or something, whatever. I just forget the correct month. But they picked all these fellows from brass down to the privates, and we were going over to support the B-29s. Fly gasoline and supplies over to them. Okay? And if they went down, it was up to us to take and help them. We had, I think, 2 or 3 airplanes with machine shop on it. Had metal in the bellies and everything else, so in other words, if the plane went down, they could fix it if it were possible.
Right.
Oh, I remember one lieutenant in particular, and his name was Fisker. And he said, I worked like heck to get a darn 29 going, he says, and I finally got the last part down there in one handle. He says, they didn't even pre-flight it without Japanese come over and bombed it. He was like, I worked like the devil to get the parts over to them, see? And he says, there it was. But, you know, trying to get these bigger airplanes, make sure that they had enough gas and everything else. But, and that was our job, mostly our job. And we did pretty good, not because I was in the outfit, but I had paid for ship crew from different what they call higher-ups. You know.
How did you get to India? Did you fly there?
Where?
To India.
Oh yeah, we flew to India.
You flew from the States to India?
We flew from the States. It's a real old book now.
Is that your diary?
Oh, okay.
Just his, I think it's just his
Oh, his log.
His
Okay.
log of his flights.
I think that book cost 2 cents.
We did keep. Okay. Where were you stationed, in India?
We're in India.
Yeah, that was where you were based?
Over in India, I was in Koch. And that was about 100 miles away from Calcutta. Well, I think it's west, southwest, something like that. Don't ever go to Calcutta.
Why not?
Oh, I went in there and I turned around and I left.
Why?
I never saw such filth
Really?
and stuff to turn your stomach in my life, honest to God. To me, it was a disappointment.
Hence the phrase, the black hole of Calcutta.
Honest to God. What? Everywhere you go, you see white, they take their fingers, wipe it on a pole, wipe it on anything, and then the cattle were in a street, you know, they have the right of way. And I'll tell you, it was one mess, and you saw these beggars everywhere there, and a lot of them were deformed and so on. And like I say, I was in there just about an hour, 2 hours, it was right back. I said I was better off in my tent.
Now that's where you lived in tents?
Pardon?
Did you live in tents?
Tent?
Yeah.
Uh,
Let me get a photo.
no, at first we had, no, that's Okinawa.
Oh, okay, I'm
That's
sorry.
my place. This was our barracks before. They were made with a straw top and like plastered, I don't know, some kind of a cement they had.
Like a hut.
Yeah. And then cots, we had like a 2x4s, and then a rope in between. Then they took your blanket, put it on top of the rope, and that's how you slept. Okay. With mosquito netting around.
Yeah.
So, well, you got used to it. Yeah, sure. When you're tired, you sleep anyway. Yeah. I know I did. I slept on the runway on Okinawa there. We had nothing. And when we got to Okinawa, we landed at Yantan in the center. Marines here, Navy's there, the Army's here. What the hell am I doing here? I'm in the Air Force. I was supposed to be here. So anyway, when it come to it, we had to wait for the airfield to be cleared. So the airfield was finally cleared. So this fellow went with myself. We had a tent in the airplane. We took the tent out. We went down. In the meantime, if there was a vehicle that nobody was in, and the key was there, you take it. So I had a Jeep, and we had a truck. Until the MPs come in later on, then they took everything away. But until then, we went from the center of the island down to Langham. When I got on the airstrip, all I could see was a lot of holes all around. The engineers weren't there yet. So we pitched a tent, and we stayed there. And we were waiting, and wait for the engineers to come in. And one day, I don't know, I didn't expect anything, and all of a sudden I see, geez, there's a whole bunch of guys coming down. At the end of the runway, we're down the other end. I said, Wentworth, I don't know what this is, but we don't have enough ammunition here. All I had was machine guns, 2 machine guns, and 2 45s. So, as it turned out, it was the engineers. They were cleaning up. What a blessing. Well, it was really. Then the payoff is, on the side of the island, would be the west part, I'm quite sure. Yeah, on this side of the island, there was a little island there. You could walk to, tied in. Okay, we see this island, and what we do is pull guard every night. One guy sleeps for 2 hours, and the other fellow goes to sleep for 2 hours, on and off. So this island is there. We don't know who's on it, and we're not going to look for anybody either. So all of a sudden, the war is over, in comes the Army. So this General Hoover he gets all these guns facing this little island. Where were you at the beginning when I was here? So then he set up the guns there on the island. He said somebody might be on there. Well, maybe they were, I don't know. But it was so darn funny because there we were for so many weeks, the 2 of us, nothing happened at all. And suddenly the Army moves in and there are a lot of tales,
How long were you in India?
You get right up.
Oh, yes, okay. Okay.
You got it there?
Yes, I see that. Make a copy of that too. When did this hurricane happen? I know that's from March of 45.
Right here. Yeah, it's a March 45.
Okay, why don't you hold some of these up like this?
Okay.
If he can focus and tell us about the pictures, what that is. What is each showing?
Oh, by the way, excuse me one minute here. This is what our place was like
Okay.
before.
Before and that's after.
Yeah.
Turn it,
Okay.
Just in there, I don't think.
yeah, yeah, show it to the camera, right.
Now is that you?
No.
Okay.
Somebody got to take a picture.
Okay, you took the picture, all right. But that's your barracks, where it
No,
used
that's
to
our barracks, yeah.
Okay, can you hold it, just hold it still for a second. Okay, got it.
be. Okay,
Okay?
yes.
Yep.
All right. Now, this is where we lived. This was our barracks, and this is the remains after a storm.
Okay,
And now, it's another picture of the remains.
wow. Okay,
It's the C-46 with part of the wing taken off, and also tail section.
all right,
This is the remains of a glider. Now this glider outfit was next to us.
okay,
They had their airfield next to us. Here's one tipped over after the storm.
okay,
Here's another glider.
two of them it looks like.
Okay. Now, this is the remains of our living quarters. There must
Okay.
be quite a few buildings, I don't know just how many, but quite a few.
Okay,
It's more of the living quarters.
all right,
Now, here's a glider that went upside down by the window.
okay. Looks like a small observation airplane.
Here's some of the clothes that hanging on the post. We could not find anything that belonged to you. It was all blown all over.
Hmm.
And here's one of the fellows standing by the remains.
Okay,
Now, this is C-46 that went off the runway and had a pull, whoever pulled this out, they used a cleat track and they ripped the tail section out.
oh,
And
okay,
I had to put the tail section, I didn't have to, but I put the tail section together, all the wires and everything.
now a cleat track was a bulldozer, right?
Pardon?
A cleat track was a bulldozer?
A cleat track bulldozer,
What?
is that a bulldozer?
No, they had what we call cleat tracks, we had no bulldozer.
Okay.
We had this other that just hooked
Okay,
it up, and while they hooked it, they had a tow bar on there, and they pulled the rear wheel, the
okay,
tail wheel off, see?
mm-hmm,
And all the wires inside, all the controls were pulled off.
ah,
So I put it all together. Well, that's what's another help out
Yeah.
of the only one. So we worked on it, and the payoff is, after it was all finished, I had to go up on a test flight.
so obviously everything worked out all right.
So,
Uncle Al, was in the hurricane, was that where your friend was tying the
that
shoe?
was after the,
That was the
yeah,
typhoon?
that was after, that wasn't in the fur, I'm sorry.
That's okay, that's all right.
That's okay. Now, he wanted to tell us about the planes.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Okay,
Yep.
this is a C-46. I don't know, I got the tonnage someplace, I should have brought it along. But it had a four-bladed prop on the engines. They were Pratt & Whitney 2800. Very powerful. Reason they used the four-bladed prop was because the lifting power, and used three-bladed props for speed. But we needed the lift to get us over the hump. So with the cargo you had, we carried just about anything and everything in these airplanes. The Jeeps, and we had in our outfit, we had, I think it was 3 airplanes that were outfitted for machine shops. They carried metal in the belly to patch up things and so on. They had so many different spare parts. And if you didn't have the spare part, you always go back to India and get something else to make sure that the B-29 had the right material. Let's see now, what else can I say? Right now, I'm sorry, I don't have
That's okay.
The speed. Well, another thing, we could travel maybe about 16 to 18,000 feet. We had limitations. If you went to 22,000, you were gone. You know, there was no oxygen. We did have oxygen, but we used conserved it, never wasted. And flying over the hump, you never knew what route you're going to take, because the weather was unpredictable. You never knew if you take off on a nice sunny afternoon, and by God, 2 hours you're in a storm. And we did not have the facilities that we have today about weather. In other words, nobody to tell you what's coming ahead. Like they were surprised with the snowstorms.
Right.
You know. But I don't know, now what?
How many times did you cross the hump?
Oh God, I don't remember. I never, that's the one thing I should have done is kept track of everything. Come and go. Just like over in the Pacific, when we went over in the Pacific later on, I was flying out of Naval. There were so many islands that I went to. Okay, that's a flight today, that was it, come back tomorrow, go to the Philippines, lay over overnight, come back the next day, and stuff like that. So. But I would probably have a book about that, I think. No. So it would, I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, that's okay.
No, I mean for myself.
Oh, for yourself, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad you're saying it's okay though.
In India, did you eat any local food?
What, their food?
Yeah, their food?
We stayed away from it. We were on rations, a lot of rations. And if they did bring you anything, well, we had mostly all canned stuff, whatever we could get. And there was some fresh food, but I don't know just where they got it from. But if something looked like a bird, we started to count the buzzards up there to see it. And it wasn't chicken, no. I'm serious. But we lived on K ration for quite a while when we first got there, until things got settled and you knew what was what. But their food is all a bit different than ours. We were told, just like over in the Pacific, stay away from the food. They use human fertilizer and everything like this.
Yes.
And when it comes to drinking water, you had your blister bag, you had your Halzone tablets. So I remember this water that we would get out of the wells, always clear and cold. Now you could drink it if you wanted, but no, we couldn't touch it. See, but we used it for take a bucket, drop it in there, and then just for showers. Or if you want to take and put it in your lister bag, then that stays for, what was it, 24 or 40 hours, something like that. Then the pills go in there and then you wait, then it was warmed. Now in India, the temperature there was way up. And every day I'd sit down on my cot and I'd sit like this and perspiration just pouring down. There's nothing to keep you cool. So, now what else would you like to know?
What were your officers like?
Our officers?
Yes.
One hell of a good bunch. That's in plain English. All except one, I'm sorry. I had nothing to do with them though. And some of the other officers didn't like him because they figured they had someone shining and they could have been promoted and he wouldn't promote them. He held everybody back. And I got along with all of them. All my officers were nice. And like I say, we were together. But this one, his name was Waxler, and he wouldn't give anybody a promotion, no matter who. Now why? When our regular commander left after he got his time, and well, when he left, Waxler took over, and I guess he was running the fellows the wrong way. So, of course, I never had anything personal with him or so on. It didn't bother me. I was doing my job, and that was you keep your nose clean, don't worry. But the fellow said, what did you do in the Army? I said, everything they told me to. So that's it.
Did you have any real close friends?
Any what?
Close friends.
Close?
Friends.
Friends.
Close friends?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I would say we did, yeah. Oh, sure. You know, folks, one of my closest friends got killed. He was, I'll say, from 80 away. That's just with the storm. There was a boy from Hershey, Pennsylvania. And we had our supper, and we went and we took a shower, and we come back and watch a movie. This was in India. So, all of a sudden, I'm looking over in the sky, and it's getting dark, and I guess we're not going to go, it's going to rain. And it's on, it's a be all right. So he's sitting on his foot locker, and he's tying his shoe. And then this wind is coming up, and all of a sudden I see the roof flapping. And I says, let's get out of here. And he's waiting at the time I shoe, and he says, come on, let's go. So I ran toward the center where the door was, and I got out. And he was there tying his shoe. So whatever fell on him killed him. Well, that was the end of him. Well, I got out, and there was a pole. Nothing was on this pole. The pole was just sunk in the ground there, and like a telephone pole. So I'm hanging on to it, and there's a fellow, strip maggot. He was from Philadelphia. He's there with me, and we're hanging on this pole, and the wind is blowing. Then all of a sudden there's a break, and we run toward this prefab building that we use for the club. And we're trying to get the door open, and it won't get. And I'm swearing. I made out swearing too. I said, open the door, let it go, or whatever the words were. So all of a sudden, the wind stopped for a second, the door comes open. I look inside, all these guys are holding on the center beam, there's nobody by the door. The wind was holding the door shut. Okay, so we got in there. Now, I have no recollection of anything that happened for the next 3 or 4 days. I mean, I was either stunned or something, I don't know. There are things that happened that I don't know about. But it's I don't know what you say, how you can, characterize it, whatever you want to say. But I don't remember what happened for the next 3 or 4 days. Everything was like in a different world. You lost your, I don't know what to say, really. But that was the end of that. So then we got some tents and everything had to clean up with so on. Now, what else, sir?
Well, are there any other stories you want to tell us that you remember? Any other stories you want to tell us?
Any stories?
Yes, that happened to you.
It just did.
What about, was it on Naha when you and the other guy were by yourselves?
What happened?
You and one other guy were guarding the whole airfield.
Naha.
Was it at Naha? And you went and you, one of you went to the headquarters that was a distance away.
Oh,
Tell him that. It's
stupid me. All right. Like I said, Naha there, we set up, we had the tent. And as it turned out, we had trick flares all around. We had the wire. So this one night, Wentworth had to go, so he gets the shuttle. Right? Well, we had all modern facilities there. So, sorry, Carol. But anyway, we get the shovel, and what does he do? He hits the wire. And the whole place is up with lights, and all these lights went on, flash. Yeah. So he's hollering, don't shoot, it's me, Westworth. I hit the wire, so, because he heard me cock the gun on. So, okay, that was it. So what shall we do? I says, well, I'll tell you what, I says, I'll go to the Army. Now, I know how there you got a line in the road. And for lights, we only got about this much of a headlight on our Jeeps. Just a small opening. And I figured, well, I'll go to the Army and get some more flares. I get on the road. Dummy me, I never thought of it. But here's caves all along. And about every 10-15 minutes you'd hear, you see a flare. Somebody shoot up a flare, maybe the Army or the Marines, you never know who. See, and then they'd hit, and that was it. See, they're coming. So I'm going down this road, never down during the daylight, let alone at night. And I hit the gate there to the Army post. And all who goes there, I don't know the password for the day either, and holy man, here I am. So they call the officer the day out, then he takes me over to the big shot. He says, so I told my story. He says, well, he says, I'll send a group to get your fellow over here, bring him down here, where you'd be safe. I said, well, we can't leave because we got all that equipment there. See? And he says, how many more besides you two? I said, just the two. And I said, well, we're the only ones that I told about the airplane and so on, where it was. So fine. So he says, now, he says, I'll send you back with some fellows. I said, no, I said, I'll be all right. So he said, if you need anything, you come back here. He said, during the day, how about food? I said, well, we're cooking our own. He said, you come over here and eat. And he said, do you need anything from supply? He says, check it out. He said, don't worry about anything. If anybody said anything, will say anything to you, you come and see me. Tell them to come and see me. That's good. Got a good deal going there. So fine. I went back, had my flares, and I was all set. The next day I went back, I had meals there. The second day I went back again. Then I went to supply, got myself some more boots, some socks, some shoes, and the whole works, yeah. That was better than going to Klein Hands. So I'll tell you, it was something. So I had a lot of clothing on, but I lost it all when that typhoon hit us. Because some of the guys lost their stuff, so I just, here, take what you want.
Which was worse, the hurricane or the typhoon?
Well, the typhoon, I got in a cave,
Oh, okay.
but that wasn't too good either, because it was cold. And it started ripping up the floorboards, and under the floorboards was dynamite. So, well, I feel a fire, so I think the hurricane was better.
Now,
What I say war is hell, no kidding.
what do you mean these are surrender planes? What does that mean?
This plane here, we were told, when you see the white plane with the green cross, don't shoot. That's a Japanese surrender plane. Well, they come down to the airport, see, and then they landed, then they took them off to some other place to wherever their ships were to meet.
Oh, this is a Japanese plane?
Japanese.
Oh, okay.
That's a Japanese surrender plane.
Okay.
Where were these taken? Okinawa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get to Japan?
Pardon?
Did you go to Japan?
Oh yeah, I went to Japan one day, and I went to stop there this afternoon. I had a flight to Japan, and I saw this section of Hiroshima, and that was a mess. It was just black stuff sticking up, and that was it. And then we landed at over in Japan. Everything was shut down. We got there in the evening. We couldn't gas up. There was no food because the mess hall was closed. And there was no place to sleep. So we went in the airplane, we slept in the airplane. So the next morning, everything come to normal. We did something to eat, we got our gas, and we left. One trip I had to Japan.
Okay. When did you go home?
November.
And you were discharged?
I got discharged at Chinook Field. And Thursday was Thanksgiving. Well, I was on a train. Well, let's put it this way. We landed at Bakersfield. And then we stayed at Bakersfield or at the airport for a couple of days. And there were some nice people that we met in town, two couple, and there were three of us. I just forget the names. And the three of us, we were in town, and we were having a beer or something, sitting at a table, and they were in the next table, and he started talking to us. He said, now, if you're here for Thanksgiving, here's our phone number and our address. Come and have Thanksgiving dinner with us. So I was fine. Well, Thanksgiving, I'm on a train going up to Chinook Field. But there was a boy that lived outside of Chinook there, pardon me, and his mother called him, or he called his mother, and she said, would you bring about 3 boys home with you for Thanksgiving dinner? So the fellow was nice, he invited me. So, okay, we're on a train, Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgiving supper, whatever. All we had was our mess kits, whatever they gave us on the train. So we get in, what's that, I think it was Evanston or something like that, the town near Chinook. And the boys says, well, my parents are going to meet us at the train station. So fine, train station. So they met us. Now, it's 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning. They took us to the house, we washed up, we sat down, we had our Thanksgiving dinner the next day. Then he wanted to know what I had to do. I said, well, I have to report to Snoop. So I had to go to Snoop, and I got discharged on a Sunday. So I went to Chicago with 2 other fellows. One fellow from Buffalo, I just forget it. I don't know where he was anyway. But anyway, we were together for about 2 days. Then we got the train to Buffalo from Chicago. And it was a Tuesday morning that we landed at the Central Terminal. So he says, well, we go downtown to the Y and get cleaned up and all that. And I says, I'm not going to the Y, I'm going right home. Okay? So I got a taxi, and I got home. I guess it was about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. There's my mother young. That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
Did you use the GI Bill?
I do.
GI Bill.
No, I never bothered. I was, you're at a stage where you just don't know what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the way I was. So, but personally, I did all right in life.
How about the 52-20 Club?
No, I never bothered.
Okay.
No, because I'm glad I didn't either. Because my uncle come along one day and says, what do you do during the day? I said, nothing. He says, well, you go out at night for your beard. I said, yeah. He said, how about a part-time job delivering flowers? He said, well, look at it. It's from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, that's all, 3 hours a day. He says, from then on, he said, you're free. You go out and have your beer at night. So I says, okay. So then he took me to this flower shop. And I took the job. Of course, they still didn't know what the heck to do with my life. But that's where I met my wife.
Yeah.
Well, that was worth it. Wow, we've been married 60 years
Wow.
in June. Yeah. But until there, she was in a flower shop and so on. And I'll tell you, she was engaged to a fellow. The guy wasn't smart enough to marry her, so.
You were.
I was. No, I'm not a bit sorry either. Not because Carol's.
You just said that.
I
Did you join veterans organizations? Did you join the American Legion?
Did you join
Oh,
any veterans organizations?
yeah,
American
I joined the American Legion on the DAV. I also belonged to Veterans of Foreign War. And what else? I dropped out of the AARP. Foreign War. Yeah, just about 3 or 4. I dropped out of the Legion still after about 27 years. I didn't like the way it's run. They get like clicks.
Yeah.
And when they get those clicks, I want no part of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's like that in every outfit. You know what I mean?
How did your time in service affect your life?
I learned a lot about people. And you never realize until you get in a group like that how different there is in people from one section to the other section and so on. You learn a lot about people. Good parts, bad parts. And to me, I got a lot, as far as I know, I did not have any enemies, you know, or anybody go against me. But it was a great experience because you saw how the other side looks. That's what I think.
What about your hearing?
Well, my hearing, well, I don't have it.
But
That's from your service?
See, that could be from the engines, all the noise and the backfire and so on. I don't think we had big engines there.
Right.
You know, if you had to change plates, you had 72 spark plugs to change.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, you had 18 cylinders,
Yeah.
so 2 for each, at 36, 72. Yeah.
Tell them about your hump pilot group, the CBI group.
Oh,
This group.
the hump pilots, I joined them.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the hump pilots group there, it was all these navigators, pilots, and co-pilots, so on. So every year, they would have a get-together, a different city, in Sacramento, what do you call it, San Antonio, Atlanta, and anyway, I found out about it. I don't know, through the magazine or something. Somebody got a hold of me. Oh, I did not know, but at the time, a fellow by the name of Lee lived in Sanborn, and he was the commanding officer of the outfit that 1 year. So I found out about him, and I went to Sanborn with some of my stuff, and he looked at it and says, "You're in." So he wasn't trying to tell me anymore. He said, "I see it up there." So anyway, I joined the hump pilots. That's where I got that one. And they would put out a book of or magazine there, and about 4 times a year, and they would tell us about different things, who died, and so on. So how things were going. So then I went to the reunions. I started going to the reunions, and I met my fellow gang there. We had our own, first had our own room, and we had our own meeting spot, even though it included everybody from the United States, but we always had our own meeting room. And there were other outfits that had their super. Our officers, they were all nice guys. Everybody was nice. I can't complain. They were very, very close. Even my wife said that she never saw such a group of people that were so friendly, courteous, or whatever you want to call them. And of course, there was 1 or 2 stinkers, that's for sure. They're out there. There's always an every.
Yep.
But you know, we knew who they were. Like this one fellow, he lost his wife. He married this other woman, and he had 2 daughters, and he was treating this woman like dirt. Okay, now the rest of the party know about it, so they kind of stay away from that. But I mean, otherwise, there are other people that made up for what he did wrong. Now, where else do I go?
One Lacey.
Yeah.
Tell them about the plane that they just found. The plane.
Now, there's this airplane, 294, we had a replacement plane before it went to Okinawa. And all these planes come in, and they were all, no camouflage on them, just a regular finish, silver finish. So, 294, I was assigned to it. And that's the plane that I flew from India to Okinawa. I didn't fly it, I was at it, I was crewing it. So anyway, we took this 294 to Okinawa. And that was the plane later on when the airport was all finished and filled. Then it flew up from there down south to Naha. That was the first American airplane on the Naha airfield, you know, during the war, after the war, when the Japanese didn't have control of it. So anyway, there was this one time that two planes were going back from Okinawa back to India. So this one fellow took off with the plane, Leach took off, and he made a left turn. And Chesky on the second plane, this 294. I did not go. Because this other fellow said to me, Harris says, he says, I'll take the plane, go back. Let's go ahead. So okay, he went back with the plane. Both back rather. So he's on the plane. Chesky was the pilot, and they take off. And so help me, Chesky went straight. Now he hit the side of a mountain or something, straight ahead. He did not clear. The Leach went over to the left. And then they started looking for Chesky, you know, through the dome and all, and they couldn't see him, didn't know what happened to him. And he's gone with the crew. So there's a certain fellow that's looking around for different airplanes, and he claims that he found this airplane right near the airport. But there were certain wordings on that plane, like Miss Texas or something, but I don't remember any wordings being on the plane. But I got more information on it because that didn't seem right to me. So if he does go back there again, Carol is going to get more information on it, and I'll get more.
He confirmed that it is the plane.
If he would give me all the numbers and everything.
He did. He sent it to you in the email. I'll show you. I'll show you. Yeah.
But you know, because we have on all our planes and all that.
And
I think so. Our secretary will be here to straighten this out.
she is here, right here.
See, now here. See, tell the crew number of the plane and so on.
So you knew who was on the plane then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said, that, see, like routes now, here's routes that they have to fly. See, a lot of the stuff is restricted, you're not supposed to have it.
Okay, don't look. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your interview. It was a very good interview.
We had one pilot by name of Noski. He was from Hurdle in Buffalo.
Was he?
Lived around Hurdle and Elba, somewhere in there. but he died about a year or so ago. Then we had 3 other boys that were from Buffalo. So after the service, one fellow said, well, I'm married, this and that. So the other one, McMahon, he belonged to the 5220 Club or whatever that was. I can't afford to go out. And then the third one there, Peter Rabbit, we called him. Well, he wouldn't show up for anything because when he was overseas, his wife sent him a picture of herself naked. And some of these guys saw it. I didn't see it, but I heard about it. And Peter Rabbit didn't want anything to do with me at home here.